everyone, it's Sharana from Pay or Wait. So today we're going to be reviewing the Netflix series Glow Season 3, which is already streaming on the Netflix platform. It's been out for a few weeks. But of course, I am behind on my reviews, but I had a very great binge session this weekend. I was living my best life with Netflix, so I wanted to share a couple of my thoughts about this season. I will go into a non-spoiler review to begin with, and then I'll get into a little bit of spoilers. I'm not going to split it up into videos, as I typically do, because I just have so many other series that I actually have to review. Like I told them I would review, so I still got to do Will Assassins, and I got, what do you call that? Dear White People Season 3 as well. So I'm going to finish those out today, so I'm all caught up on what I was supposed to do. Yes, so, and everybody bear with me because I've really been going through it because I have some people who moved in above me, and when I tell you I know their every move, I can tell you what part of the house they're in, just they being loud to tell right now, I can't take it. But let's get into Season 3. So Season 3, we find the ladies are in Vegas. They are doing, a show at a Vegas hotel, which is actually ran by the casino manager, portrayed by Geena Davis. I was like, hey, Geena girl, I missed you since I saw you on Grey's Anatomy, but now you back on the screen. I was like, how you doing, boo? So, going into what I enjoyed about this season. So I really did love the fact that they're in Vegas, that they kind of up their production value even more as to what they can do, the props that they have. The fact that Bash is on this whole, like, this is my show and I'm trying to take it to the top. I'm trying to just run all of the shows in Vegas. I was just like, sir, chill out, sit down, because you don't be doing all the work that you think you be doing, because it really is Debbie who is doing all the actual book work, and even Rhonda, his wife, they got married. She's been doing a lot of the legwork and not necessarily getting all of the shine that she deserves. But I was like, I see you, Rhonda. I see you, Debbie. But what I would have to say is where this show goes right in Season 3 would have to be when they do show wrestling, even though this would be a pro and kind of a con, just because Glow is the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, and so you expect wrestling to be a huge aspect of this series. In this season, it took kind of a back step, and I think more so for this season, we decided to focus on a little bit more character development of all the ladies, dealing with some more serious issues as well, which I enjoy, but I will go into ways that I felt as though they could have made it a little bit better. But where the show is the most entertaining, where it's the has the most comedy, is when they decide to switch things up a little bit and kind of switch the roles around for the women. And so we see this in 2 different episodes when the women, they first have this decision to do a whole different show, and then kind of towards in the season finale where they decide to change things up again. I don't want to give away what it was because I don't want to spoil anything for those of you who have not watched Season 3 of Glow. But also too, going into the character development, there are a lot of kind of woke moments, as people will say, which I actually really appreciate them using a comedy to tackle real issues. Some of the things that which we've seen in series such as Orange is the New Black, which is another Netflix series. I think that they do a great job of tackling these issues, but as we get into the cons of trying to find ways to, you can still tackle issues in a comedy, but you also need to balance the comedy out to kind of bring the audience back up, you know, into a joyful mood after kind of seeing some of the things that happen to characters. But what I do appreciate is, like, watching the past 2 seasons, I'm like, y'all, Welfare Cream, Fortune Cookie, I was like, y'all, these names not okay. I know it was the 80s, but these names are not okay. So half the time I was watching like, Lord, I shouldn't be laughing. It's funny, but like I still find the names a little bit problematic, and they do a great job of kind of using one of the character stories to explain to someone else why some of these things may be offensive, and really how they feel as though portraying these stereotypical characters, you know, night after night as they're doing this Vegas show. Another big topic that comes up during the course of this season is really talking about the working woman, especially those in entertainment, those who are on TV, who are conscious about their body, and also too trying to balance that with being a wife, or also too with being a mother. And so I think they do a very great depiction of this, of you know, some of the pros and cons of being a mother, and how that could change your career for good or also for bad. And I think that they do a very great job of balancing out that these women are professional wrestlers, or, you know, professional wrestlers, let's put it that way, but how they're really working these jobs, trying to start careers, trying to be taken more seriously. And I do love the story arc that they take Debbie on, as her really, she was trying to figure out who she was. in seasons 1 and 2 as she went through the conflict. As she went through the conflict with her friend Ruth, and then also too as she's trying to balance being a mother, dealing with a divorce. I think that now she's starting to go on this arc of trying to figure out, is she following through with her dreams? Do they actually look like a reality through the actions that she's taking, through being on this wrestling series in Vegas, or her thinking bigger, thinking beyond what Glow could potentially be? And so I like that we do a great job of balancing different characters throughout the course of this season. I'm really seeing some characters grow up. Some characters kind of regress. We think that they had this breakthrough in previous seasons, and now it's kind of just like we're back to square one all over again. And when I get into the spoiler talk of that, I'll speak a little bit more about it. But what I think that Glow Season 3 does right is it does a great job of showing character arcs, showing that some of these characters are getting a little bit more screen time. They're showing a lot more growth from what we've seen from seasons 1 and 2. And they're tackling a lot of serious issues, something that I wasn't expecting season 3 to do. But for me, I really enjoyed that. And just with a couple of tweaks, I think that this really could be an amazing season. I enjoyed it. I definitely think that it's worth streaming. For those of you who want to see more wrestling, you might be a little bit disappointed at this season. And then also, too, I think that's why a lot of people had issues. I saw people had issues. They said it was too woke. Y'all, it wasn't that woke. I think the problem is you got to balance everything right. If we're going to be woke, put the wrestling in there so people get their wrestling. Then put a little more comedy in there so everything balances out. And I think that's the only place where it really kind of took a left turn. But for me, I still enjoyed this season. But I do think as though more people would have probably been more satisfied if things were more well balanced out. But yeah, that's my non-spoiler review. So if you guys have not watched Glow Season 3, this is a time when you hit pause, you walk away, you go binge the season, and then you come right on back and talk to me. But yes, so let's talk a little bit deeper about some of the things that I was talking about. And so one of the things with Debbie's character, played by Betty Giplin, she did a fantastic job of showing the trials of being a mother while trying to pursue a career, trying to actually live out their career, having responsibilities. So we see she's really struggling with the fact that she's away from her son. She's missing him walking. She feels as though her son is going to grow up and not know who she is, not know who his mother is. And so we see that after they decide to extend the show run of Glow, we see that she brings the baby there to kind of balance things out. A little hectic. Lost the baby a couple of times, but you know what? It happens. The baby was okay, so I ain't gonna hold it against you. You was doing the best that you could. But I enjoyed kind of this arc of her deciding hey, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be a producer, but I'm only doing this show, starring in this show. I'm doing all of Bash's work, doing all of Sam's work. I cannot do all of this, so I need to find ways to challenge myself. And so we see that she's trying. She does the charity ball. She meets a wealthy gentleman, and then she stole his deal. I said, ooh, he gonna be mad at you, but I understand you did what you needed to do. And I think one of the interesting things is that she mistakes him bringing her along, listening to advice that they're partners. And he made to make sure that he corrected her real quick. Boo-boo, boo-boo, we not partners, okay? You're a pretty little thing to be on my arm to make these meetings more bearable. And so that really sets her off to realize, I am about to put myself in the exact same situation that I kind of came out of. I need to be my own person. And so I want to see how this plays out, because I don't think that Tex, JJ, whatever his name is, I don't think that he's going to take too kindly to what has happened. So I'm excited to see what happens with her character, and then also too with her and Ruth's relationship, because Ruth is trying to be this aspiring actress. She's falling in and out of love with Sam. She'll be like, I love you, Sam. I don't love you, Sam. I was just clearly y'all have feelings for each other. We clearly been seeing this the entire series, but she is in a committed relationship, long distance, that's really not working. And I was just girl, stop fighting it. Just go ahead and do what you have to do with Sam. But was I the only one who had an issue with her because she got upset that Sam was actually trying to tell her the truth about her not getting the part, even though he fought hard for her? I just felt like it was hella dirty for her to be upset or to blame him or to not follow through on her, telling him how she feels, going to smash. I was like, girl, at least get your rocks off, because I know you ain't been getting none since your baby, not your baby daddy, Lord, they ain't got no kids. Since your boo thing about to go to Spain and shoot for too much, I know you ain't been getting none. At least, I was bothered by that whole thing. I just felt like she reacted kind of childish to him. and he was trying to be honest, trying to be vulnerable. And I think that it was right for him to tell her the truth prior to sleeping with her, because I'm sure she would have felt even more betrayed if he would have waited till afterwards. So yeah, so I liked the conversation at the end of the season where, we hear Debbie before in the middle of the season talk about how she wants to tell Ruth the truth, but she doesn't know if she's able to receive it. And I think we've all been there. But she finally tells her, like, what is happening, what's going on. Like, it's not going to happen for you. Like, if it would have happened by now, it hasn't happened. So take a different direction and become a director. I'm going to be the president of this company, and we'll go from there. And then she basically tells her, like, no, I need to figure out what I want to do. And so I'm interested to see what that looks like. What happens with her and Sam now that they didn't, I don't know what the hell is going on with them. I guess we're going to have to figure that out. But I thought it was weird they just had Sam disappear out of nowhere, then go through this life crisis of having a heart attack. It seems that he's a changed person. He's doing this movie with his daughter, but I just felt like it was rushed. And I do feel like a lot of people's storylines were rushed, especially Cherry Bane. I had an issue. I love how they started off her character with her husband, Keith, who I love so much. He's on this Comedy Central show called Southside. It's so good. I'm going to do a review for that as well. But I love their relationship and kind of how things ended so abruptly. Like, I was shook. I'm sure everybody else was shook. And then the last episode, they bring him back, and then they talk about adoption. And we don't address how y'all haven't been talking for all of these, like, months. I just felt like it was a little bit rushed at the end. I mean, even the whole thing with her on the casino money, I was just like, okay, so she just did a mud wrestling contest and it was just resolved that quickly. I was just really confused about all of these things. But yeah, I guess when you have 15 million women that you're supposed to be covering, I guess it becomes a lot. Also, too, can we talk about Geena Davis for a moment? Because I know in a non-spoiler portion, I did enjoy seeing her, but she really had no purpose. Like, there was no conflict with her or any of the other women. Really, there's a mild conflict between her and Bash. And then there's this kind of big reveal when she's like the showgirl, which was cute. But I was just like, so y'all had Geena Davis of all people, and y'all didn't want to do nothing else with her. That was the only nitpicky thing that I had to say. I felt like they could have utilized her character a little bit better in this season. Now, I do appreciate them bringing up with a couple of characters and dealing with their sexuality. And so we see there's a relationship amongst one of the girls. We kind of see how the other women react to that relationship. And this all comes to a boil when we're at this charity ball that Debbie is actually producing. And so we see that there's kind of this, like, they set the hate crime, they set the place on fire, they spray paint, like, horrible words. And I felt the impact from that, and it kind of made sense with the conflict that we had with one of the relationships of her not really accepting who she was or coming out as gay, of her having, this breakthrough when she's at that event, and she understands why that was such an issue. But we really don't get to see too much of a resolution between them. I guess that's something that we have to wait to the next season. But what I find even a little bit more interesting is their choice with Bash's story arc. So we see that him and Rhonda, they get married. Everything, it seems like they really have a picture perfect relationship, but we see hints throughout the season that Bash may be dealing with him hiding his sexuality, of him feel as though maybe he's bisexual. I don't know. We haven't really understood like what the full scope of him identifying himself as. We don't know, but the scene between him and Debbie, I thought there was some really great acting by him. I don't know his name. I don't want to mess nobody's name up, y'all, and I don't have time. Oh, Chris Lau. He did a really great job in that scene, but I find it weird that we have this whole arc of him overcoming, getting into this relationship with Rhonda, getting married to her, and them working very well as a business couple, and then kind of transforming into this whole other ordeal. And then there's really no resolution with that as well. It seems like he tells her that he wants to be with her and he wants to start a family, but it seems like he's still dealing with some type of conflict, or more so him trying to live this picture perfect life, not for him, but for Rhonda, and also too for his mother. So I find it very interesting to see where they take his character. Are we going to talk more about him struggling with his sexuality? I hope that's not just something they randomly brought up this season and they were just never going to address it again. I really hope that that is not the case. But I will have to say, I enjoyed a lot of the character development between the other girls, and then especially the one who plays like the wolf girl. I loved her. I love the whole transformation that she has in the midst of the season. This whole thing with her in acting class, the monologue that she gives at in the charity ball. I just thought it was absolutely fantastic to really see her evolve and see a lot of these women evolve from the tropes that the tropey characters that they've been presented in season 1. And so I thought it was fun to watch where the season gets it right is when they switch up the characters, when they change the tone of things, when they show more wrestling and show how these women are taking control of who they are, what they want to stand for, and then also too even going through some of the characters dealing with some of the pain issues, Welfare Queen dealing with her back issues. I just thought that overall, I love the development of these women. I want to see more of that. It happened for these characters, but then it was kind of just like, okay, we did that, let's go. We're never going to talk about Fortune Cookie again after she had this beautiful scene that she has at this campfire, is why she's trying to explain to her friend why she felt offended about how she portrayed her character. And so I want more of those things. I want them to keep that momentum, but we need to find a way to balance that with the comedy, balance it with more wrestling. And I think that it will be more, it's just easier to digest because you go into this, you want to watch a comedy, but it feels very heavy. And I think these are issues that we definitely need to talk about. We just have to balance it to make sure that it's not too heavy for the audience. But overall, I really enjoyed this season. I hope everybody get their damn lives together. I can't wait to see what they do with all of these characters now that we're leaving Las Vegas. Bash and Debbie are going to have this new television station. I can't wait to see what they do with Glow Season 4. But yeah, like those are pretty much my overall thoughts on the Netflix series Glow Season 3, which is now streaming on the Netflix platform. As always, my name is Sharonda from Pay Your Weights, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.